Stop the cap.
Let me just add this to this video. I was at the gym, I was working out, I saw the clip on Comedy Hype, and I said, I'm gonna listen to that when I get home about this whole Somali woman getting hit with the brick. And I thought that they would have Pierre on there. I thought that it would be some sort of balance, approach. I forget Yamanika. I thought that she was gonna be up there, and then Pierre, and then her gonna go back and forth, and everybody. And I knew that everybody would have came with the "you should never hit a woman ever, no matter what a bitch does. No woman is ever deserving of getting hit." I knew that people were gonna default to that, and Yamanika, she went the typical black feminist route, and no one is protecting us. I already knew that was fucking coming. I knew it. So I'm not surprised about that. But let me take these damn, headphones out so I'm not screaming at you all. But listening to the two black women that were up there, one, the host, I forget her name, I don't know her name, um, which is a contradiction, right? You forget her name. Do you even know her name? Okay, you don't know it, then clearly you didn't forget it. But anyway, and then the other chick that was up there that she was a Caribbean black woman, and on the same shit. Well, no one should ever hit a woman. She didn't deserve this. Why are we talking about her actions? Why are people bringing up the past? Because people are looking for patterns. That's what they're looking for, a pattern of behavior. Going back and looking at the clips that they played, like, first of all, it's like active self-protection in his video. Whenever he sees these people that get robbed and accosted, and they're in Brazil, or they're not, and little two guys on a motorcycle come up and rob them, or just situations where people shouldn't be. It's late at night, they're on their phone. As he likes to say all the time, don't be in stupid places at stupid times doing stupid things. This is one of the reasons why I don't go out at I used to be one of those, be out till 5 o'clock in the morning, and then I realized, I'm like, man, as soon as the club is done, first off, I don't even stay to the club until like 2 o'clock in the morning. I ain't even been to a club in God knows how long. Ever since COVID, that shit died, in my opinion. But in any event, usually I would roll out before, they kick the lights on. I would be out and be like, let's get out of here. We done. If you ain't got a number by 1 a.m., nigga, you ain't gonna get no number. All that standing around 3 o'clock in the morning trying to prey on drunk girls and shit that some guys will do. That shit is corny to me. So if you ain't get a number, if you ain't spit game, you got there at 10, and you done had, 3 hours, 4 hours to spit some game. And if you can't spit any game in that time period, nigga, get the fuck on. Anyway, I'm saying, being in stupid places, stupid times, doing stupid things. And watching that clip again, there's no women around. I'm like, where are the women in this clip? So here she is, and I'm, just based on her personality, her older videos, the type of shit that she talks, like all that stuff that she was saying about black women and trans women and all that shit, right? I'm like, again, you look like an attention whore, just like the brother said in the video talking about what really happened. And I've seen this type of situation happen quite a few times in my life, because remember, I was a bouncer. You know, Anytime you see a woman hanging around with a whole bunch of dudes, just the dudes around, and there's no other women around, okay, not only is that woman asking for trouble, she's an attention whore. And it's just and the thing is the part that gets me about women is, again, men are always underneath the threat of violence, right? There's just like this attitude, like, men can handle it, men can take it. Men always have to protect themselves from being victims. We have to protect ourselves, or be aware of protecting ourselves from being victims, actually more than women, because nobody's coming to our rescue. And we know that. We are our own first responders. Women run around with this idea of like, chivalry and Disney movies in their head, and they think like, because, oh, I'm sexy. And I don't know what it's like to be a woman, where like a lot of you all will be attracted to, men who can kill you. You know what I mean? Like the woman that's sitting there. Like, I'm a man, right? So when I go and I see a woman and she's small and petite and she's cute and all that, right? That's what I'm attracted to as a man. I'm not threatened by that. But y'all, some of y'all be out here and y'all attracted to nigga that look like Kimbo Slice and shit like that. And then, you want these type of like savages, and then they turn on you. And then y'all, jump around and start, complaining, just like with, Captain Solo's mother, going out here, getting these cock strong, dark skinned dudes, got a light skinned son, sicking the cock strong dudes on Captain Solo, trying to discipline him. And then again, when he got jumped in school, in middle school, they pulling him, his mother pulled him out of the damn martial arts class. And then, eventually, the very men that he was, or excuse me, that she was sicking on him, turned on her. You know what I mean? I don't know what it's like to be a woman and be attracted to, the savagery in men. And that's why, to me, it's always going to be, something that women are going to, complain about. It's like you'll get a woman that's like 5'2", and then she's like, the most attractive man to me in the world is Jason Momoa. And I'm like, what happens if Jason Momoa turns on your ass? You know what I mean? Like, what happens if Jason Momoa put hands on you and shit? Like, even other men can't do shit against Jason Momoa. I'm just saying, I'm just throwing that dynamic out there, because women are always just throwing like all this like evil man patriarchy bullshit on, just out there without contextualizing it, like when it in regards to women being attracted to savages. And I'm saying that's where a lot of women out here, get into trouble. Like the chick that's out here, DMX and Belly, when he was fucking Terrell Hicks. Ooh, they get all excited about that shit. And I'm saying, we know like who DMX was, his personality, type person he is. Like, DMX literally played himself in these movies. And I'm like, okay, chick, you attracted to Tommy Buns, and what happens when Tommy Buns goes off? And I'm saying that's where a majority of this shit pops off. You know what I mean? But then you got situations like this with this Somali woman. She out there by herself, nothing but dudes out there, right? And, the dude that did the video, the other guy in the car with the glasses, he basically said she was talking crazy, which I totally believe, because I've witnessed and seen that shit a million times, where women go out there and they can't, like, again, that whole, oh, well, I just said, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. Nah, you tried to embarrass the dude, disrespect the dude. You doing a whole bunch of extra shit. And here's the thing that kills me with women. Like, when the fuck do y'all like think that you've crossed the line? Like, does that ever, like, is it like, do you all walk around that you can say anything, you can do anything, and nothing's gonna happen to you? You know what I mean? Like, I could sit there and I could go out here and I could talk crazy. I could walk into, the same spot that she was at. You know what I mean? Like, I'll put it to you this way. Like when you see these pranks on YouTube, and you see these guys walking down the street, and, they're like, what do they say? They'll say something like, they'll be like, oh, what's that drink called? You know what I'm saying? They'll be like, you want not a punch. Not like a Hawaiian punch. Like, you want a punch? Like, what other drink do they have? What other like energy drinks do they get people with? You know what I mean? And they fucking with them. They crossing the line, and you see how these guys react. And usually the camera crew got to run out. Yo, chill. It's just a prank. Right? So I'm saying, you see the reaction that dudes get when they say some out of pocket shit, even on the prank shit, all the prank videos that are on YouTube. But why is it like women really feel like no matter what they do out here, that they can't get hands put on them? But men have to deal with that reality on a regular basis. That you could go out here and you could say some shit. You just be out here, just stand in the middle of South Central and just say, "This my block, nigga," to every nigga that walks past you on the street. I guarantee you gonna end up like PNB Rock in about 15 minutes. this my block, nigga. I mean, just go out there and just say some wild shit. But I really do get the sense like women think no matter what we do, we should never be the victims of violence. We can be as out of pocket as we want to be, and nothing should happen. Like as though the same rules don't apply to a man. You know what I mean? Somebody out there intentionally fucking poking the bear and provoking people and talking shit and doing all that stuff, and then saying, well, the law says. It's the law. Ordinance 257-8 says that you can't put your hands on me. You're assaulting me, sir. I can talk as crazy as I want. Like, I mean, you can have a white supremacist come into the room and say, I'm gonna go in the black community and just say, remember what was that, Die Hard? Remember they had that shit with Bruce Willis, and he had this, and the guy made him put the sign on, and the sign said something about something niggas or something like that, in the middle of like Harlem or something like that. And it's like, yeah, white supremacists could, just show up and do some out of pocket shit to black people and have a sign that says, I hate black people or something like that. And black people like, nigga, do you know where you at? Right? Or the shit with the Muslim cartoons. It's my right to draw the Prophet Muhammad. I'm gonna do it. No, and y'all ain't gonna do shit about it. Cause it's against the law. If you put your hands on me, I'm exercising my freedom of speech. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you can exercise your freedom of speech, but that doesn't mean that you're free of consequences. It doesn't mean that you're free of getting fucked up. Like there's a point where it's like what you're doing is just simply not smart. It's not smart what you're doing. And I every time some shit like this happen, I always hear these women, she's a woman. You never hit a woman. But it's like these women go out here and put themselves in these fucked up situations and then act like, nothing should happen. You know what I mean? It's like these white people, out there fucking with animals, fucking with tigers, poking the damn tiger, sticking their hands, their fingers in the lion shit, and then the lion damn near bite their finger off. Who's the guy that was got killed by the stingray out there fucking with crocodiles and shit. Like, I just don't understand these people that think that they can do that. And I look at a lot of women the same way. I'm like, you out there fucking with fire, your ass is going to get burned. A hard head makes a soft behind. I'm going to throw up a boomer phrase. You out there fucking with fire and your ass is going to get burned. And I don't know why people think that what people shouldn't do equates to the fact that they can't do it, right? Like, I'm like, no, they can do it. You thinking that they can't do it, that's the wrong way of thinking. No, they can do it. It's just against the law. But that doesn't mean that you can't get cracked over the head. That doesn't mean this shit can't happen. And the thing is like, to me, it's like, if you want men to act like gentlemen, you know what I'm saying? Like again, this woman was not just prancing around acting like some Victorian woman from the 1800s. Y'all need to stop the cap. And again, if she been acting like that, that's when you'll see men step up. If a woman is truly, the idea that woman is just going to truly be innocent and nobody's going to do anything is bullshit. That's bullshit. But when men see a woman that's going around asking for it, like when we see women that decide that they're going to swing up on a man, it's like, chick, you already know you can't swing up on a man. Like that dude on the New York subway train, when that woman slapped him across the face and he turned around and slapped the black off of her. Y'all remember that? You know what I mean? Or the, you're going to jail now, and hit her with the soul you can. Y'all remember that one? Like y'all see a lot of times women will back off this conversation when they, they put hands on somebody. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, when it comes to even verbal assaults, let's call it that, right? When it comes to, you want to embarrass a dude in front of other dudes, men get killed for that type of shit every day. Men kill other men for disrespect. I don't know where women think that there is somehow a sacred cow when it comes to this shit. Like this is the part that's fucked up. Like what do you test like? And then that's another thing. There's no patriarchy. Black men ain't patriarchal. Yada yada. Okay, fine. They not black men are not patriarchal. Y'all say that shit all the time. Okay, so why do you think you can go out there and poke the bear? We've already established the black community is not patriarchal. So why do you think that you're gonna get the chivalry from freaking the freaking King Arthur and Knights of the Round Table? What makes you think that you're gonna get that type of treatment since you have already established that there is no patriarchy? Right? You've already established that it's nothing but a bunch of savages out here. What is there to discuss? What behavior is there to curb with these young men? Right? Since that's your viewpoint of the black community, right? And again, I already don't like this, having all these non-ADOS people, in the space and media hype wants to, or comedy hype wants to have this conversation about, what's going on with the men trying to bring us all into the shit when it was between a Somalian woman and a Haitian dude. But I'm saying, fuck it, let's go there. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, where is the, if men are supposed to act like this, then women are supposed to act like that. See, that's where women would be 100% in the right. But again, when you look around, when you look at the black community, and especially looking at just like you got the Suki Hanas and the sexy reds and all the raunchy shit and everything else like that, all this out of pocket stuff that goes on, right? I'm like, where does King Arthur and Knights of the Round Table chivalry fit into that type of behavior? Like where do those two things go together? The chivalry are for women who act like ladies. That's what the chivalry. It's not for any random bitch out here. It's just not. I'm not saying that she deserved the brick being thrown, but again, it's the Wild West out here. It's the Wild West out here. You know what I mean? Like you got black men that are shooting at each other for less. You got black men that are killing each other because a nigga disrespected me or stepped on my ones or some shit like that and didn't want to apologize. You know what I mean? And then that's another thing. Like, I didn't hear any of this smoke when the brother at the Seaside Lounge down there in Houston, same place, a couple years ago, the brother that got sprayed down by Ray Ray and Pookie when his cousin was talking to a table full of Ray Rays and Pookies at the Seaside Lounge. You can go and Google it. And he went up and asked if she was all right, trying to be, Sir Lancelot. He went up there asking if she was all right, because she wanted to sit at the table with some savages. Well, the savages got offended by this shit. And then they got in a fight. One dude cracked the bottle over this young, educated black man's head. And then he got escorted out of the club, went to his car. And as he was at his car, Ray Ray and Pookie pulled up and they sprayed that bitch down, killing the young man. Where was all this energy about what shouldn't happen? See, y'all know how to keep y'all mouth shut when it's men between men. Y'all keep y'all mouth shut. Oh, that's y'all. That's y'all problem. Y'all ain't running around talking about how unjust and not righteous that shit was. But anytime it's a woman, y'all, regardless of the woman's behavior, regardless of how out of pocket she is, then all of a sudden y'all want to come through and y'all want to talk about what shouldn't happen to her. And over time, when you just look at the pattern of it, every time this happens, it begins to look very one-sided. There's no discussion about, you shouldn't be here. You shouldn't be at this time because, y'all feminists, y'all, it's freedom. Women should be able to go anywhere they want. A woman should be able to walk at 3 o'clock in the morning and not be harassed. And she should be able to walk butt naked down the street and not have a nigga even look at her. Right? Like, I'm like, that doesn't even go on with men. You know what I mean? It's like when Captain Solo, he was walking through Central Park one time and he was, talking on the phone. And to a woman, and the woman was like, The woman was like, y'all, man, y'all just go out here and do what you want. He was like, I'm on the phone with you. I'm telling you what, I'm walking through Central Park. And it was like after Central Park was closed. He's like, I'm walking through Central Park, because Central Park has hours. And I'm walking in at this point. It's at Central Park. And, I should be coming out at this such and such point at such and such a time. If I drop my phone or the phone cuts off or whatever, you should know approximately where I'm at in the park so that you can call 911 and send me some damn help. You know what I mean? But women, I mean, y'all were really out here on some sacred cow shit. Like nothing should happen to you. Like you the fucking the Dalai Lama on some I want the knife shit. Like you the little child, you the child God. You the golden child or some shit, and you sitting there on a pillow Indian style with some monks sitting around, doing the damn throat chime or the throat freaking prayers or whatever the heck they do. All that. All that shit, right? Y'all act like that's y'all. I mean, every time this happens, you don't hear women saying, "Well, you shouldn't have done this, you shouldn't have done that, you shouldn't have been here, you shouldn't have been there." But what's crazy in all these communities where you all think that women are protected, right? Women don't have that type of freedom like that. Women are told by other women, by elder women in the community, you shouldn't have been doing this, you shouldn't have been doing that, you shouldn't have been doing that. You put yourself in the situation, right? And then, the men step in with, checking the dude and all that other stuff. But it's not just a one-way street. It's not just oh, you men and da 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 da. Like, it ain't that. But in the African American community, every time some bullshit happens, even when it's not even us, y'all come with that shit. There's no discussion. There's no black elder woman, type of guidance. Because everybody thinks that that's fucking victim blaming. And I'm like, okay, if that's victim blaming, then where at any level is it ever said that a woman shouldn't be doing, insert X? When is that ever said? Because when it comes to men, you know what I mean? Men, like I can sit there and be like, I shouldn't have to carry a gun. I shouldn't have to protect myself. I shouldn't have to carry a fire. I got the bitch sitting right next to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I shouldn't have to have a gun right next to me because, clearly that's not the type of world I want to live in. You know what I mean? I'm a man. I don't operate in that type of delusion. Maybe we don't because of the idea that not only do we have to protect ourselves, but we have to protect, the women that we're with and whatnot. Because if we don't, we're going to be looked like a bitch. If we don't, the woman's vagina is going to dry right the fuck up. Right. So we always have to, be that male, goose with his head up looking around while everybody else is eating. I don't know. And the thing is like, to me, it's like a lot of black women play dumb. Like where you complain about the communities this way and that way is broken, is this and is that and the third, and it's a dangerous place and everything. Okay, so why aren't you acting like that? Why are you running around acting like shit is sweet? Right? And acting like we don't have these problems. Right? Like, I'm not sitting there going, oh, I'm hungry. Oh, let me go and get a steak from Geno's at 3:00 in the morning. You know what I'm saying? And Geno's and Pat's got cameras every goddamn where. You know what I mean? But I'm not sitting there saying, oh, it's 3:00 in the morning. Let me go drive over there, and cruise around Philadelphia and with the windows down and blasting my music and go and freaking, sit there and eat my cheesesteak, like as though there aren't savages running around looking for cars to steal and carjack in Philadelphia right now. Couple years ago, I would have done that shit. Couple years ago, easy. I would have done that shit. There would have been a long line outside, especially on the weekend and shit. Shit would have wrapped around the block. You know what I mean? Right after the club let out, 2:00 in the morning, 2:15, 2:30, line is wrapped around Geno's and Pat's. Sexy drunk bitches running around. I mean, that was the spot. It was the spot. You know what I mean? But now in 2023. with the carjackings and all this other shit and the economy and everything. I'm not going. I'm protecting myself and just not going. And you can be dumb and you can sit there and be like, well, I see how to do that. I see how you okay. Well, you know, operate at your own risk. You know what I mean? But I'm sick of notice how this shit don't happen in the church. You know what I mean? This shit doesn't happen, at other type of events, right? You don't see this stuff happening, right? But 3 o'clock in the morning, or 2 o'clock in the morning on a weekend, partying and up, yeah, that's when all the shit goes down. That's when you wake up Sunday morning, what do you see on the news? This nigga got shot here. There was a double homicide over here. There was a home invasion here. There was a carjacking here and shit like that. Like, that's demon time. You know what I'm saying? So, like, for all these people running around like women are just getting randomly accosted on the street in the middle of the fucking day. Like, stop it. Stop the fucking cap. You know what I mean? But what really irks me about all this is this attitude, like, no matter what a woman does ever, any freaking time, she doesn't deserve that. No woman deserves this. And then just make this blanket statement and whatnot. I'm like, okay, so y'all can do whatever the fuck you want. Go out at whatever the witching hour, you can wear whatever you want. You can, and you should be able to feel safe. Right? I agree with you, but I'm like, it ain't that type of world, boo-boo. I don't even be going out like that. And again, the part that gets me with a lot of the women when they want to, cry and claim victim, I'm like, a lot of y'all be thinking these savages are sexy any goddamn way. Y'all be over there having they babies sitting on their lap and all that other shit. When it comes to the straight and narrow dudes, he's a square, he's a lame. Y'all ain't interested in that because he ain't fun. His personality ain't this and everything. Yeah, but he's also the type of motherfucker that ain't hitting you going upside your head with a brick. You know what I mean? So, like, I ain't taking. First off, I ain't taking no L's on this shit because this shit ain't had nothing to do with African Americans. But secondly, I ain't taking no L's on this shit because women's behavior does need to be called out. The risky shit that they do and the behavior that they engage in. And the belief that, oh, we go out here and I can talk any type of way to a dude and that wants to get my number. Look, I'm 100%. I know that there's dudes out there that are disrespectful. You know what I mean? I know that there's dudes out there that are persistent. That goes on. And again, it's this idea that no means no. Y'all need to stop with the no means no. Because there's a difference between no and no. There's a difference between those two. One is clearly absolutely not, and the other one is try harder. Let me see you spit some game. Make me laugh. You know what I mean? So it all depends. You know what I mean? But some of you all, when a dude asks you for your number, some of y'all get flat out disrespectful. I have seen it. I have seen, hey, excuse me, miss, blah, 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 blah. And chicks be like, oh, nigga, please, nigga, you trying to talk to me and you ain't got this and you ain't got that. And nigga, please, nigga, I would never, you know what I mean? I see women do that type of shit. And just embarrassing the dude in front of everybody. People they don't even know, people standing in line, just all type of shit. You feeling bad for the dude. You know what I mean? And some guys, no, they can't handle that type of rejection. Especially if, if they, went out here and, they trying something new, what you need to do is you need to go up to women and talk to them. Women like strong, confident men. And so the guys out there, because you got to develop some game and whatnot. Guy goes up and he's trying to talk to a woman. Hey, I like her. She's beautiful. I'm interested. And then it's one thing to turn a dude down. It's another thing to say some soul crushing shit. Because as already been pointed out, what women do is they dismiss and they move on. They don't even think about the dude that they dismissed. You know what I mean? Like they just don't. You know what I mean? You're nothing to them. They get, the 100 dudes telling them they're beautiful, hollering at them, catcalling until they hit the wall, and then they're online bitching about ain't nobody checking for me. It's like, what were you doing in your 20s and your 30s? Ain't nobody checking for me. It's colorism. That's what it is, right? But again, it's a lot of double talk. 1 minute it's street harassment. Ain't nobody. They harassing me. They cat calling me down the street. Then the next minute, next video, it'll be ain't nobody checking for me. All these black men, these passport bros, they're all out there with white women. It's like we can't fucking win, y'all. We can't win. Either way, it's no matter what, as a black man, we all know at this point, no matter what, it's always going to be we did something wrong. It's always going to be we did something wrong. And when it comes to the women, like one of the hosts or something, the bald, Caribbean woman, she up there talking about she watched the movie Barbie and this whole just remember that the world hates women, and it's like that's just such a blanket statement. And then not only that, it acts like the hate that does exist just comes out of the void. You know what I mean? Like men don't have a legitimate reason to not like women. Like women don't go up here all the time. You got dudes interviewing women on the street and just the wild, out of pocket, shit that they say that make men want to shut down and not even fucking try and even bother with women anymore. I've already said that women are some of the most selfish beings, that are out here. Again, going back to what Chris Rock said, men are only loved underneath the condition that they provide. Women, dogs, and children are the only thing that are loved unconditionally. And I mean, it's just women they always play the victim. They always, and I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened to, the structure, of the male female gender dynamics. Where like men, you keep the boys and the men check, and then women, you keep the women and the girls check. But see, I think the whole thing is, we never had a movement against women. Women came in with feminism. And feminism basically told women that like nothing they ever do is out of pocket. It's not wrong. There shouldn't be any consequences to shit. And so, it's like men have legitimate reason not to fucking like y'all. There's legitimate reason in there. And again, we can walk through the details of each situation and circumstances, but to act like there's just no reason at all why men, are frustrated with women or end up having contempt all the way to hate for women is intellectually disingenuous. And I don't know why we continue to have conversations like this. There's just no woman. There's just no reason to hate a woman. We continue to have these conversations like this. And I'm talking about not just this specific situation with this woman, but the bigger overarching picture, the bigger overarching issue, of this situation. Where just it's we can never talk about, how a woman can literally run into a burning building, get second and third degree burns, and then she's sitting there bitching. I'm like, bitch, I just watched you run into a burning building. Not walk, run into a burning building. And now you're gonna bitch about the fireman didn't get there fast enough. You're gonna bitch about how the fireman, they didn't have enough water pressure. And they just watched the house burn down, and you were screaming from the second story. I'm like, bitch, you ran into the fucking building. Come on, yo, come on. You know what I mean? And I don't know. Sometimes I think some of y'all do it just as a test. The damsel in distress. Like you assess how valuable you are to men. Because you're like, maybe you'll see like a pretty woman, and dudes will be letting her get away with all type of shit. Yeah, the world's not fair. That's the reality. You know what I mean? Just like y'all, if a doll, I know because of my height, you know what I mean? And being physically fit and having muscles and shit like that. There are times I have said some straight goofy shit and I've gotten away with it. You know why? because the woman is attracted to me. Straight up. If I was anybody else, I would have been. If I was 5'5" and 135 pounds, please, they wouldn't have tolerated that shit for 2 seconds. You know what I'm saying? But when you're shooting well past 6 foot, you know what I mean? There's a lot of shit that you can get away with. You know what I mean? There's a lot of, you can slap a chick on the ass. But let me be 5'5" and slap a chick on the ass. Rape, 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 and pillage. You know, it's just it like people are not people are out here capping like a motherfucker when it comes to the actual dynamics of this shit. You know what I mean? But that's what women, that's what women, I expected it. I totally expected it. I totally expected the grandstanding and black women, and with the black woman is not protected, and that's why we need to get away from these DBR black men and this awful patriarchy. I knew it. I knew that's the route that they were going to go. You know what I mean? And I was hoping that once Tariq's video dropped, that everybody, I was like, oh, well, Tariq Nasheed clearly put this to bed and we're done with this conversation. And good, I'm glad my highly intelligent African-American, foundational black Americans, I'm so happy that we did not fall for the okie doke and the bullshit. Wrong, nigga, wrong. You know what I mean? It's just... And now I'm making a video like this. Anyway, I'm done. That's my video. SWP out. Don't forget to comment, share, like, and subscribe.